Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Funbox Monster Podcast. My name is Tristan.
I am Matt Awkward.
And tonight we are doing the classic Lance Henriksen vehicle, Pumpkinhead.
Yeah. Directed by Stan Winston.
Yes.
Who did not direct a lot.
He did not. Only this and a gnome named Norm.
Yes.
Maybe he did something else. I don't know. I just know that he did a gnome named Norm.
He did the Michael Jackson Ghost video.
Yeah, there's that.
That was cool.
That's probably the best thing he ever did. I mean, listen, we've talked about this off camera and off mic here, and I have reservations about Pumpkinhead, where it's like, I love this movie and I watch it a lot.
Yep. But
it doesn't stand up to close scrutiny, and it is, I mean, obviously the story holds together because there's not a lot of story, but it's not really, the story isn't all that interesting.
No.
It's just a very one note.
I feel it's got a cool story. I like the concept a lot of the whole dig up your person, you set this thing kind of revenge thing in motion. I think that's cool. The monster's cool, but yeah, like I said earlier today at the shop, it felt to me similar to Demons 2, where it was so light on story, but just so heavy on special. Like, look at our special effects. Look what we can do, and it's like cool. And I think the monster looks incredible.
Monster looks great.
Monster looks incredible. But the problem I have with it are the kills. I feel suck.
Pretty weak.
There's like no cool kills in it whatsoever. When you have a monster that looks like this, let's see it rip some arms off. Let's see it go do some things.
Yeah. It definitely.
It's just watch me climb a tree, but then you don't even see it climb the tree.
It suffers from Rawhead Rex syndrome, where it's just like, okay, this is cool, but it's like its limited mobility is causing problems for like big action-y effects.
Well, unlike Rawhead Rex, at least it can open its mouth.
Sure. I mean,
or close its mouth.
Stan Winston made the goddamn thing. I mean, I'm not going to say that it's of the same level as Rawhead Rex, but I mean, it had a huge budget for effects because he had all of the material there. He got his effects company for, cost.
Yep.
So he wasn't billing up the fees for his effects work. And I mean, in some ways, one of the weirdest parts of this thing is that it looks like a kabuki play where you've got like big pieces of set. Like it looks like it's on a stage and like there's no background. You just get fog and mist and all that kind of stuff. And all you see is like 2 or 3 big pieces of foreground sculpture. Especially when you go to the cursed pumpkin patch, which I wish they'd made more out of the cursed pumpkin patch, because that is such a cool idea and it's such a cool set.
Yep.
But I mean, when he's there, it looks like a model. Like it looks like a picture on the back of a Screamin' model kit. Like the ones that they advertised in Fangoria.
Yep.
It's weird. And again, Stan Winston, not a writer, and I wish he'd had somebody punching this up. He never laid any seeds for anything in the story. It's as soon as you need to know a piece of information, it drops in front of the moment. There's nothing that organically arises in the story at all. It constantly is just like, you don't know that this girl is a Christian until they decide that they want to tell you she's a Christian. And then after that second, she's nothing but Christian. And for the first 45 minutes, you had no idea she was a Christian.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? That seemed like such a big, important thing. Maybe introduce that concept earlier.
Yeah, and that's another qualm I have. I wish the teens were more fun. Like, we don't do anything fun with them. And it's like, they're all, except for the jerk that kills a kid, they're all like the same character. Yes. They're just interchangeable.
Agree.
They have no traits, nothing to them.
It's his lack of writing.
We're kids going to
skills.
A cabin.
Yeah.
Like, that, okay.
I mean, if he had...
I guess they ride dirt bikes, okay.
And it's coming off... I mean, okay, so we've got a lot of things. We've got a lot of aliens in this thing. There's no way around it. I mean, the creature looks like an alien. He's got the warrior alien tusk things on his shoulders. He's got like all this stuff. Stan Winston used a little bit of what he learned making aliens to do this. But I wish that he had learned the really important lesson of Aliens, which is everyone's a cartoon. Like you think about the characters in Aliens. Like the one lesson to learn from Aliens when you look at it is, look at those fucking characters. Everyone's a different type of cartoon character.
Yep.
Vasquez is this ridiculous, weird, like blown all to hell, like crazy archetype of a tough girl, like trying to prove herself. And there's like everybody's got their own thing.
Yeah, and that's the problem. This one,
nobody got a thing
except this guy's a total jerk.
This guy is. And also, it's another one of those movies where you're like, okay, well then why are you hanging out with this dude?
Yeah.
You know, like, it's another friend group movie where it's like, everyone hates this guy.
Yeah, why are you even with him? And it's, to me, this is just a personal thing. Like, we talked about this with Night of the Demons, too, there, like, with the Z-Boy. You know, I just hate movie bullies like this, so it's like, you're supposed to hate this guy. Obviously, he's a jerk, but, like, I still hate these kind of characters. Like, so it's like, for me, I'm just like, you just die already or get out of the picture, like, damn, I hate. You're just bringing me down, man.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I understand. Have you seen Kids vs. Aliens?
I have not.
That movie is amazing, first off, but also there is the main bully character is so awful. Like it's like he's bullying children, and then he gets to the point where he literally is willing to murder a child, and it's organic because he starts out and you're like, oh, this is a guy that would kill a child.
Yep.
And also the sister falls in love with him and you're like, I don't why.
Yep.
And that's what this is. It's just like, why are you doing this? This is crazy. Why are you hanging out with this total sociopath? And if it was like, okay, sure, the behavior we've seen, if this is new and it erupts from out of nowhere, you go, okay, fine. But when we get halfway into the movie and they're like, the reason that he's hiding out is because he ran over another child.
Yeah, he's on probation.
For running over a child a second time. It's like, how many kids are you going to fucking kill before this friend?
He's really good at that.
He's just, when they're like, he's just really talented. That's what his talent is, running over children with a dirt bike.
He just watched Toxic Avenger and he was like, fuck, I'm going to be that guy. I'm that guy now.
He is that guy.
He is that guy now, damn.
He looks like him. He acts like him. He basically is the bad guy from Toxic Avenger. That's crazy. Yeah, I never noticed that. Yeah, and the one thing that I noticed on this close viewing of Pumpkinhead was the fact that it's based on a poem.
Yeah.
Which was not something I had known before. And clearly it was not based on like a classic poem or anything.
No, it was apparently based on a poem that somebody wrote to scare their kids at night, and somebody thought it was a really cool poem, and he bought it from him with the intent to make it into a movie, and did.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I would like to do a reading from Ed Justin's Pumpkinhead for you.
Take it away.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. His enemies are mostly dead. He's mean and unforgiving. Laugh at him and you're done. But in some dreadful fashion, vengeance he considers fun and plans it with a passion. Time will not erase or blot a plot that he has brewing. It's when you think that he's forgot, he'll conjure your undoing. Bolted doors and windows barred, guard dogs prowling in the yard won't protect you in your bed. Nothing will from Pumpkinhead.
Woo!
Thank you.
Now do a slam poetry version of it.
Keep away from Pumpkinhead unless you're tired of living. No, I will not do that. It's my Lydia Lunch by way of Henry Rollins. Ugh. Henry Rollins poetry. Anyway,
I once had a book of Michael Madsen's poetry, and holy shit, I gave it to my buddy Gainey.
Because you hate him.
Yes, no, because he loves Michael Madsen. But oh my gosh, man, that was the. I don't want to shit on Michael Madsen, but man, it was.
I do. It
was just really weird. Like, the poems weren't poems; they were just like statements. You know what I mean? Like,
man,
it's sunny out. I'm sitting by the pool. This is tight. And it's just like, okay.
Holy shit!
Riding my bike. It's nice outside. The air is cool, fresh. I like summer. And it was just like, okay. There wasn't. Sorry, Michael Madsen. I know he listens to this too.
Yeah,
so.
I know. It's sad because he does listen to this. He's waiting for us to do Species. Was he in that? He was in that, right?
I don't know.
Maybe.
Sure.
Anyway, okay.
I haven't seen Species since high school.
It wasn't very good, if I remember correctly. I remember that Nastasia Henstridge was incredibly attractive, and that was about what it had going for it.
Oh yeah, that's why I wanted to rent it when I was like 14.
It was Giger and Nastasia Henstridge being attractive. Those two things together were like the only reason to watch that. But I mean, that poetry is like you remember we had those books of Shia LaBeouf's poetry, essentially.
Yes.
He did comics that he sent to us, which was a whole thing.
With his driver's license.
Also his driver's license.
Which is still here in the store.
There's a whole weird thing.
Yeah.
If you ever need to know the story, if you haven't listened to every episode of the podcast, which I'm sure most people haven't, I'm sure I told the story.
And if you want to come in and look at Shia LaBeouf's actual driver's license, just ask us.
Feel free to ask me the story of Shia LaBeouf's driver's license. It's a very weird story. Anyway, okay, so let's start it out.
Oh, are we doing a podcast?
We're doing a podcast about a movie called Pumpkinhead.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we get these titles, which...
Boring.
It was so sad. It's like, this could have been 1,000 movies. Like,
yeah.
It's like... You literally, it's got like the glowing drop shadow, and it's like, this is every movie that I saw from like the 5-year period when this movie was made. It's not very interesting.
I was thinking they had the cool Pumpkinhead monster. Why don't you do some cool, very extreme close-ups? You know, the suit, like the monster mask over the...
Exactly.
Or just anything.
Or just the pumpkins.
Just so the kids driving through the desert, like, just show me something. Or the pumpkin patch. Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Just literally take a dolly shot of the pumpkin patch really slow, or like go in through the miniatures or whatever with a crane or whatever. It would have been amazing.
Here's some fire.
Come on. Anyway.
Up your game.
Yeah, seriously.
Hasn't even been 10 seconds, guy.
Yeah, I'm already mad that it looks like a full moon movie. Anyway, okay, but we get the breathy synth music, and it's like, okay, this is pretty generic, and then some harmonica kicks in, and you're like, oh, look. Looks like we're going to crawdad country. Oh, my. And it's pretty funny. I like the soundtrack. It's fine. It's a nice combination of synth and, like, swampy swamp music.
Swampkinhead.
And the titles go on forever.
Oh yeah.
Which I think is because probably Stan Winston spent so long being a below the line person that he was like, no, everyone gets credit before the movie. Yeah. And that was his like stance as a below the line kind of guy. So we opened in 1957 on some sort of like throwback homesteader Appalachian. We don't really know where this is or what's going on, but it looks like the Dust Bowl. All the kids look like they're in a Dust Bowl photo. Yeah. So maybe Northern California.
They still look like that even when we go to the future.
Even when they go to the present, it's like the kids definitely look like a Dust Bowl photo. But we see a little child saying their prayers, and the kid's dad is acting super squirrely, and he leaves with a shotgun to go check on the horses. And he's like, he goes and locks one of the horses away, puts a bar across his door when he comes back in, leans the shotgun up against the wall, and he's acting all crazy. And his wife is like, is it going to be all right? Should I be scared? Which I think is a pretty funny line. Should I be...
yes.
I was just thinking of that as like the subtitle for the movie. Pumpkinhead. Should I be scared? Up to you. Anyway, he's a typical stoic farmer, so he doesn't answer her. So we cut outside, and there's a bloody guy running for his life and stumbling and running into corn and scarecrows and all sorts of stuff. He finds his way to the door, and he pounds on it. Let me in! It's after me! And based on what we know later, we find out that this guy was accused of killing a girl, and someone loosed it, which we, of course, know is Pumpkinhead.
And I just love this aspect of the story of this movie. Like, I love I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but the whole looking for help and you can't help somebody because, like,
absolutely.
Sorry, I mean, all I got to do is open this door to help you, but then I'm fucked. So,
right.
No, bye. And especially for, like, the later the kids that don't understand what's going on, where how awkward that sounds when it's just like they're just not getting any assistance. Like, and the other people are inside watching the other people be like, nope, not helping them. Like, it's so awkward, and I love that whole aspect. That's
the other thing about this movie is that it's... So I said this before when we were talking about it earlier, but it basically slams together a folk horror movie with a big rubber suit monster movie. And that's part of its magic, and it's also part of what hurts it. Because what's great about a folk horror is that you never see the monster, you never know. Like in a Wicker Man, it's not like you're like, oh shit, the magic was real. Yep. You don't know. They could just all be crazy, and they just killed the guy. Like any of those kind of folk horrors, you're just like, I don't know what this is. But in this, you instantly know the magic is real.
Oh, that guy's getting killed by a monster right now.
Oh, witchcraft is the true religion. Shit. Yeah. I've been gotta throw away my crosses and stuff. It turns out witches are the true religion, or swamp witches specifically. And actually, that is another problem I have with this is the Christian stuff. It's like the damnation and all of that stuff. I feel like it takes away from the actual horror of, like,
I feel like it could be not even here and it wouldn't matter. Like,
I feel like it would be better personally because
I do like the whole going to the church because I like that set too.
Right.
And that makes sense when you're getting chased by a demon. You're like, holy shit, we're going to go to this church. Like,
well, that to me was the opportunity for them to say, we're going to this church. That's going to save us. He goes in and he's like, what's this?
Yeah.
God isn't real. Nothing is real. It's a cosmic horror. It's literally like you get to that point and like a Lovecraft story, you get into this thing where you're like, aha. And it's like, no, God isn't real. Nothing is real except there are these things and you're an insect. You're just nothing. And it's that horrifying moment of realizing that there's this gigantic world that you don't know anything about, and you are so insignificant that you barely exist to this pantheon of horrors. Yep. And that's what they take away when you add God into the mix, and it's like, you did something bad, you're going to hell. And it's like, instead of you're going to hell, you're going to live until someone calls on Pumpkinhead the next time. So, like, at the end, not to spoil the movie so early, but, like, when Ed dies, it's like, if he still was sentient, if his eyes were still open and he was experiencing the world, and it's not like, your soul went to hell, so there's nothing going on. You're rotting in the ground and experiencing everything.
Yep.
And you're seeing the world, and we could see through his eyes. And then it's like, oh, fuck. Well, that would suck.
Yeah, well, at least when he does come back, the next Pumpkinhead's going to have a sick necklace.
Yeah, it is. And also, that necklace was not enough for me. I can't help it. I mean, I knew what was going on, but it's like, it just didn't feel like it really... I don't know. It just didn't feel like that was enough of a moment. And also, man... Another moment of just like, here, have this thing. Okay, it's a plot point. Yes, it is. All right, that's gonna come in handy later. Okay.
Here, there's no explanation for the necklace. It's just like, I made you this.
I made you this. Oh, thank you.
Kid, do you see your dad wearing jewelry? Come on. Like, or like the kid doesn't even say like what it is. Like, hey, it's a figure of mom. You know what I mean? Like.
Oh, I mean, that would have been.
We just got like nothing. We're just like, here's this weird necklace for a guy that. Obviously doesn't wear
flare. Literally just fixed it. Like if that was it, if it was like this was this thing, mom taught me how to make these.
Yep.
And that's how you explain the fact that the mother's dead. There's so many storytelling things missing from that. Like you literally fixed like one of the bigger problems of the movie. The fact that they never say anything about the mother in like missing her or any of this stuff. They just ignore it, and they ignore so many things that could be character moments for everyone. Nobody gets a character moment. Ed never gets a character moment. The witch never gets a character moment. The bad guys never get a character moment. Pumpkinhead never gets a character moment. Like nobody gets anything to explain them. They're so two-dimensional, which again works with the whole kabuki play thing of it, but it's such a singular movie because it's so weirdly made.
Pumpkinhead kind of has a character moment when we learn that he's taking the chain off the motorcycle. And he laughs a little bit. He's
that
like,
was nuts.
Okay, I guess he's got a little sense of humor. And he understands dirt bikes.
Yeah, considering he died around here. He was one of these dirt poor people who died a long time ago in 1957.
If this is the same Pumpkinhead, he
1957.
hasn't been back since then.
He understands how a dirt bike works when the kid in 1990 whatever didn't know how what a camera was.
Yeah.
So it's impressive that he had that level of technological awareness when people in this area seem to be missing some of those things. I really want to know where this is supposed to be, that they're all living like it's the 1800s, basically. It's such a strange idea. It's almost like they should have made it a period piece.
Yep.
But I mean, I guess they couldn't have had dirt bikes in a period piece. Some extreme horse riders were doing stuff. They were doing like extreme, and people are doing etchings of them doing extreme horse tricks.
Oh.
There it is.
You fixed it.
Yes.
We're both fixers.
Perfect. Okay. So, Lance, we cut to Lance Henriksen in modern times, and he's using his flamethrower to spruce up the lawn. Why?
Because he's got a flamethrower.
And why does he have a flamethrower?
Because he has a flamethrower.
You know why? Because a flamethrower was very important in the movie Aliens.
Ah.
That's why he has one. I feel like a lot of times you can kind of be like, in a lot of modern movies like this, in a lot of genre movies, you can be like, well, you know, Aliens did this. So.
And it's just one of those things, too, where at the end when he fires it up again, it's just like, oh, okay, this is going to come into play. It's like, nope. Fuck
no.
He's got a flamethrower. Nothing's going to be done.
No. And it also felt like he threw the flamethrower into a pile of straw at the end.
Yeah.
And then when you pick it up, when she goes to pick it up, it's like actually on like tar. And it's like, he doesn't have any tar around here. What are you talking about? What is this? Bullshit. Anyway. Okay. So, it gives him a chance to make him all sweaty and shirtless, because Lance is shredded and looks fucking great.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, always. He goes back to the house to wash up, and he has a very creepy, weird interaction with his kid. I do not like this at all.
No,
I do not enjoy this.
This was all Lance's idea. He said in real life his grandmother used to do this, so he thought it would be an important character trait to wash this boy's hands and tell the story of...
It gives me the willies.
Yeah,
I'm not
weird.
gonna lie. I do not enjoy this on any level whatsoever.
No.
It's even what he says. He's like, she used to wash my hands with, and she had paper thin skin, and it felt so good. And he's like way too close to the kid, and I'm just like, yuck, yikes. I mean, it's a horror movie, and I was creeped out. So congratulations, Lance. You creeped me out. The kid is basically a clone of Peter Billingsley, which is weird. He's like the messy Marvin character from the old Hershey's ads.
Yep.
So that's weird. It was a weird choice, because he really does. He looks like that iconic ad campaign version of the kid. But I guess it works on some level. This is where they try to do some character moments with Lance and the kid, but they're so clunky that they don't come off. And
unfortunately, I feel they're just boring. Like,
right.
I know this is setting up, like, it's like we got to set up how much the dad loves his son and how much he's looking forward to his son's future, and he says he's going to be somebody and everything.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, for me, I'm just like watching this being like, all right, move on.
Yeah. Well, this is a real problem. It's a very tell don't show version of like explaining why they have a close relationship.
Yep.
You know, even just that one thing of talking about his mother.
Yeah.
If the kid was talking about it and Lance shuts up or he gets weird or whatever, it would be a huge character moment for them, but they don't do anything like that. Instead, they're like, I love you and you're my son and we're very close.
Yep.
And again, Lance's thing with washing the kid's hands is the best character moment there. It just creeps me out.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to a decently written moment in this thing between any characters, and it's just like so creepy that it kind of throws me off. So they are at Harley and Son's grocery, and the kid is the son, and it's one of those classic, like, he wrote "and son" in red when the kid was born on the sign, which,
unless this was a holdover from his family from the beginning.
It could have been,
because this is the boy from the beginning. Oh, we never said that in the beginning. The boy in the beginning watched.
Yeah, we find that out later.
Oh, we didn't find that out? No, we find that out instantly when it goes from 1957. Like, the boy that watched Pumpkinhead kill somebody through the window is now Lance.
Oh, weird.
So
I didn't put it together
okay.
until later, but
So,
maybe
yeah.
I'm being an idiot.
So this is his store.
I was
so
on a lot of weird medication last night.
This could have been Harley and Sons from back in the 50s. And now it's still Harley and Sons when it's just him and his son. But regardless, it doesn't matter anyway.
Fair enough. Yeah. Anyway, so basically he starts, like, speaking of how clunky the like character stuff is, he starts telling a story to be like, well, you know, there was this boy and he was so proud of this man who was so proud of his boy that and he rambles on, and then they cut him off in the middle of the story, and it doesn't matter at all. And it's like, okay, if the story is so unimportant that you can cut it off before it has a payoff, don't include it.
Well, it was just, it was just obviously telling about his son. And so.
Right, but I mean, like...
But I mean, I think we could cut because... He was just talking about how cool his son was and how much he loves him, and it's like, yeah, we get that, we know, so we don't have to stick around for that.
Right.
So let's go.
Let's cut to the rich city scumbags that are gonna do something stupid and get their comeuppance in pumpkin form. So we get, they're continuing to lay it on thick about how close the son and father are when their dog, whose name is Gypsy, that's right, their dog runs out of the house when the city folks arrive, and it hates these city folks and starts barking at them.
Yeah, the dog's got good judging character.
Absolutely. And then the kid follows the dog outside, and then our Omega douche, it like starts making fun of the kid's glasses, and everyone's like,
Dude.
Worst person on earth.
Yeah.
Why do we hang out with you?
This vacation is going to be great with you here.
And what is... It bothers me. It is important. I'm not going to say it's not important, because it is important. Why are they here? Mm-hmm. They never say. Are they on vacation? Are they there to shoot photos of him? Are they there to record him
They're going to a cabin.
Sure. Why?
Because cabin.
I mean, why are the dirt bikes there? Because it's recreation? They talk about how talented a dirt biker he is. Yeah. And it's like, he rides a dirt bike good, so we're friends.
Yeah, they don't say anything like we're going for the qualifiers to see if we can do a dirt bike. They're just cabin.
Like, to me, it was like, I work for, like, if the two people who survive at the end, if they had worked for Dirt Bike Magazine or something, and this guy was some sort of fancy whatever, and the other people were dirtbags that were hanging out with him, and that's why he has to lock them in the closet, because they have no friendship link to him, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. These people were just there to shoot photos of him doing cool motorcycle stunts, and then they're gonna, do whatever else. But...
yeah, that would make sense.
But no, we don't get that. We don't get
they're
anything.
They're just here for the cabin.
They're just there for the cabin. So we also see that the dog is very likely to get under the wheel of a dirt bike, because it doesn't have a lot of situational awareness. And now George Buck Flower arrives.
Yay!
With his Dust Bowl photo children, and man, folks around here are poor, but these kids are legitimately wearing potato sacks.
Yes. Did you notice who one of them was?
No.
Blossom. Mayim Bialek. How do you say her name?
You're as close as I'm gonna get.
Yeah. One of them. One of those kids is her. Fun fact.
Wow, that's crazy. I had no idea. Interesting.
I noticed the name in the credits when it was scrolling by. It just said, Miriam Bialak. And I was like, oh, wait, what?
It said Blossom.
Yeah. That's how my brain reads that.
Of course it does. It does not surprise me that that's how it works. But yeah, those kids are like preternaturally dirty. They look like they just came out of working in a coal mine. And this is where the daughter doesn't know what a camera is.
Yeah.
And so now there's a little fight because one of the kids steals a ball from one of the other kids. Little Jimmy Joe steals a ball from someone and won't give it back. Well, but you know what happens when someone steals from someone else or does somebody wrong, don't you? They call on Pumpkinhead. Pumpkinhead. Yes, Pumpkinhead settles on them, as they say. And the little kids torment them.
Could you imagine having freaking Pumpkinhead after you because you stole a baseball?
What a man. I'm mostly thinking more about the person who was slighted because you need the blood of the person who was
yeah.
killed. So would you need like a piece of the baseball, or what would you need for that? I don't know. That doesn't seem very right. But either way, this is where Lance flashes back to his childhood, and he sees the kids playing, and he flashes back to the cabin and the Pumpkinhead thing, because they're talking about Pumpkinhead. From the cold open thing. Anyway, they take our other people are taking pictures of the guy on the dirt bike, and Lance is like, "Oh shucks, I forgot to get the feed." And then George Buckflower is like, "You what about dead dirt?" And he's like, "I'll bring it out to you. Don't worry about it." So
I'm just gonna leave my young kid here with all these strangers for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
instead of just riding the 10 minutes down the road and back.
You know how country folk are.
Yeah,
they're very trusting of crazy city people. And so yes, they do. They do that. Night is falling, and Lance takes off in his truck to deliver this stuff. And you can tell that the bike jerks are going to do something stupid.
Yep.
Because they say they're going to go do something stupid, basically. And then the stupid dog gets out. Messy Marvin goes to catch him. And in a scene that is basically a white trash replay of Pet Sematary, he goes to save the dog, and he gets gauged when a dirt bike lands directly on top of him.
Is that what happened? It's always bothered me in this movie. Like, he gets like...
Can't imagine how he dies from this.
Thank you. That's what I'm wondering. And I can't, like...
It is hard for me to wrap my head around.
Right? And I also can't...
You know what? No. I know how he dies. I can tell you how he dies.
Oh, yeah?
He gets a neck injury. And Lance Henriksen goes, "My boy," and shakes him and runs back to the house. And he breaks his neck because he's being a fucking idiot, because you're not supposed to move someone with that kind of neck injury. And he kills him.
Well, that's what I couldn't tell either. I couldn't tell if, like, the boy was still alive either.
Absolutely. If he's just a bad actor.
So, like, what? So why doesn't he go to... I mean, obviously, I don't know where the hospital is, but, like... That's another thing. Did Lance kill him? Like, you just went back home and hugged him. Like, maybe take him to the freaking clinic.
I would say that from what we're shown, that kid would have lived if he was brought to a hospital.
Thank you.
Like from what you're shown on screen, because he goes out, like, the amount of time that passes is like 2 to 3 hours, give or take. Mm-hmm. It seems like, between when the kid dies and when Lance finds him.
Yep. So
it seems like either if the kids had gone and taken and moved him, he would have survived.
Yep.
Or if Lance had taken him to the hospital, he would have survived. And I don't know if we're supposed to believe that, but that moment that is like way, way, way later, the kid is still breathing. And then he has one moment where he's just like, and that seems to be like his last breath. Mm. And it's like, okay.
Nobody tried to do anything to help this guy?
I mean, the movie, the plot and all of this and the story is so thin that we don't know where they are compared to a hospital. It's the kind of thing where,
yeah,
like if they'd given him a line where it's like, we need to get him to a hospital. We don't do
closest one's 100 miles away.
We don't do hospitals around here.
Yep.
That's not how we do things around here, or, some weird thing like that. It would have been an annoying answer.
Yep.
But if he was like, the closest hospital's 500 miles from here, we'll never make it. And I don't want my boy dying in a hospital. He's going to die here.
Yep.
And, I know, because I've got folksy country wisdom, that he's dying right now. Fine. That works for me.
Yep.
But whatever. Let's see. Yep, Lance gets home after this guy gets killed, but after the kid gets killed, Lance finds him. They've all taken off. The one dude runs to his Trans Am.
Oh yeah, he's like, "I'm out of here. I got probation. I ain't getting caught for this."
Like, I mean, the thing that you expect when someone runs to a Trans Am drunk. He does also assault a woman on his way there, so you're like, this stands to reason. But he does this. He pushes that woman down. He's like, "Fuck you, get out of the way." Runs to his truck, peels out, and takes off. And he apparently heads to the cabin that they've rented.
Yep.
Because he says, "I'm drunk. I gotta get out of here," or something. Like, I've had a few beers or something like that. so I can't get caught. And we find out later that he's also on probation because he hit another child. Just stop dirt biking where children are.
The playground's got the best jumps.
The classic photos of him on the seesaw. Like, literally, like, he's going up the seesaw. There's a little girl on the other side, and it's her face going, ah! He just hits her in the face with the wheel of his dirt bike. That's what made his career. So he can't stop at this point.
You found your niche.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody's got to have one. So, Lance sees the douchey looking guy, like, holding the body of the kid, and he gives him a death stare as he takes the kid away.
With a musical sting.
Oh, yeah. Why did they give him bunny teeth?
That's Lance's.
Well, he doesn't look like that in anything else.
He wanted to look like that.
Lance decided to do those teeth?
Lance asked for special teeth.
Fuck. He looks so goddamn stupid.
Every weird thing in this, you keep asking, like, the hand thing, and why has he got the teeth? And it's like...
Fuck. Damn it, it's all Lance.
Yeah.
Lance is a weirdo.
Yeah.
I mean, there you go. I love Lance Henriksen. I've said it a million times. Everything that Lance Henriksen is in, he makes it better. Mm-hmm. But, man, I think that maybe some of his decisions were a little off the mark on this. Because the moment he looks over at the guy where it's like he gives him the look like he wants to murder him.
Yep.
It's terrifying. He's so intense, and he looks like a guy who could kill you.
Oh, yeah.
With very little effort. And then he looks again, and he's got bunny teeth. And you're like, well, that looks less scary. I mean, now he looks like a bunny that could kill you.
I'm going to chew you like a carrot.
You'd better look out. I'm a wascally rabbit, said Lance. Anyway, but yeah, it's too bad. Okay, so he gets out, and then everybody goes back to their cabin, and we're just, we're just guessing that they rented a cabin at this point, even because they didn't even tell us that they rented a cabin. They're just there.
Well, they mentioned they're going to a cabin in the car.
Oh,
one person is like, "How much longer to the cabin?"
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, sure.
And then when they get there, it's just a giant douchebag show again. Like, why are you hanging out with this guy who's cutting the phone line so you can't call anybody for help, who's punching women to the ground?
He is so...
It's like he's just a great weekend guest.
He is such a shockingly bad person. This is where we find out that he's on probation, all this stuff, and then... he's like, give me the key. Our good guy. I don't know anybody's name in this movie.
It doesn't matter because they're all the same person.
They basically are. But redheaded guy, who's the only decent male character in the movie, he is like, hey, give me the keys. I got to go help this kid. He's out there. We need to do something, which is insane because it's like, why didn't you stay there?
It's great he put that together an hour after the fact and after driving the fuck away. Yeah.
Well, right. Okay, so we get that the Omega douchebag drove away. Why did all of his friends drive to the cabin? I thought they were driving to get help.
Yeah. No.
Why did they leave this one guy behind
idea.
Then all take off?
Because they were going to the cabin to get a phone to call for help.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And if they don't know the area and it sure looks sparse, like... who knows if they were going anywhere near a hospital with the boys? So I mean,
that is a good
you can
point.
kind of put it together like that. But yeah, there's no phone at that store, so they're like, okay, we'll go to the cabin we rented. We can call a phone from there. That's why. So yeah,
sure. You know what? That does track. Again, tell me that. Dialogue would be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like some of that kind of stuff would be great because it just feels like none of this makes any sense.
Yep.
Okay. So Lance takes his son home instead of to a fucking hospital. Like he gets in the truck and then he comes back to the house. Like, I don't know, like he drove around somewhere or something. I can't remember what happened there.
No,
but whatever. He's holding him in his arms and he's like, we get a really sad reaction shot of the dog. That was actually the most heartbreaking part of that whole thing was like the sad dog.
Poor Gypsy.
Yeah.
This is all your fault.
I mean, it is. But so now he's dead. So whatever. in the middle of this. I think it's basically like Lance starts telling that stupid fucking story again, and the kid's like, you know what? I'd rather be dead. And he's just like,
I'm gonna check out now.
this. I'm out of here. And Joel has now locked those two people who wanted the keys. He punched one of them to the floor, and he's literally like bleeding in a puddle on the floor. And then he drags the guy and his girlfriend into a closet and locks them up.
Because he's a cool dude.
He is a cool dude. I mean, I knew he was a cool dude from the Trans Am and the dirt biking, but this has really proved it. So finally, Joel's brother, Joel is the Omega douchebag, his brother shows up, says Lance took the kid and he was real angry for some reason.
Yeah.
He looked like he wanted to kill me. I was like, jeez.
We only killed your son, bro.
I was like, well, pardon me.
It was an accident, so it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, jeez. But we cut away from that, and we see Lance driving out to the old George Buckflower residence.
This is a part of the movie I don't like, because Lance is going there to get information to where this witch is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's his whole motivation here. Lance has lived here all his life.
Yes.
And has known this legend since he was a kid. Are you telling me, like,
He
in all his
should
life
know.
of wondering, he doesn't know where this witch lives? Yeah.
He should know as well as anyone else. But the reason he does this is because there was a movie called Pet Sematary where this exact thing happened, where he needed to go to an old man who knew something and say, I need to bury my boy someplace.
Yeah, but that was...
Don't go there. The ground's sour.
But that was after this. They didn't even...
Well, there was a book called Pet Sematary that was released in 1976.
Is that even possible?
Go to hell. Yes, it is. It is entirely possible.
Oh, is Pet Sematary the book that old?
It's from
wow.
the 70s.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a very old thing, and yeah, a lot of the good Stephen King books are from the 70s.
Huh.
Listen, I love all of the Stephen King books,
Yeah.
even the bad ones, but there's definitely a spate while he was doing a lot of drinking that, man, they were good. I'm not saying he should drink again.
Yeah.
I'm just saying when he was drinking, they were pretty good. Anyway, let's see. What do we got here? We got...
Yeah, he's trying to get George Buckflower to tell him where this witch's house is, so
Yep.
so he can go raise Pumpkinhead, and
he's like,
and Buck's like, dude, that's fucking dumb.
Dude.
Don't do that.
and again, in the way that these kind of movies do this, he speaks in flowery prose about it, you know, in like hillbilly speak, where he's like, all she'll do is send you straight to hell. And it's like, dude, you know that sounds like a metaphor, right? Be straight with him. She is going to take your soul away.
Yeah.
If you do this. If you know enough to know this, be like, you're literally selling your soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Don't sell your soul to the devil. You'll burn in hell or whatever, because this is part of a Christian mythos, apparently. So it's like, it just feels like he's underselling it.
Yeah.
When he's like, she'll do nothing but drag your soul to hell, or, you know, it's like, no, really.
Yeah,
but I mean,
really.
literally.
Don't go.
But, like, don't do this. But yeah, we get hillbilly fucking Pet Sematary. It's like, so the son pulls a Gremlins, and he's like, my old man won't sell you the information to get to the Gremlins, but I will. And so he's like, $200 for this Mogwai. I mean, directions to the witch.
I love this kid. His name is Bunt.
Just further proof that this is a hillbilly cannibal family.
Yeah.
They named all of their children after food. This is bunt cake, and this is steak. And when they're old enough, we're going to eat them.
These are my twins, Tartar.
So anyway, the son goes around and tells him where to go. He goes behind his dad's back because he wants to make $15. It's like, that's
a lot out there, man.
It's definitely worth unleashing the forces of hell on the townsfolk of this little place.
To be fair, Bunt doesn't believe in it.
Fair.
So he sends him there being like, then later he's like, oh, fuck, what did I do?
Yeah. I mean, that is true. He does definitely say, like, I want, later when he tries to help them, he's like, I need to know if it's true. And also he's feeling a bit of guilt for, you know, murdering them. And when Harley gets down there, this is another part of what's so great about the way that they do stuff. Like, the set pieces are so beautiful in this movie. Like, when they do the far shot of the witch's hut.
Yep.
It's like, it looks like one of the background cells from a Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
It's just chef's kiss, absolutely perfect. So Bunt Cake will not go down to this thing because he's afraid, because that witch creeps him the fuck out. And
Understandable.
Understandable. She has a menagerie of spooky animals all through her house that are not indigenous to the region, so...
And she looks like a straight-up zombie.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it doesn't even... There's no reason to even mention that the makeup is good. I'm only going to mention when the makeup is bad, because it's Stan Winston. So it's like, obviously you're talking about the best of the best of the best. But I will say, just to counterpoint that, Stan Winston made a suit for this monster where you can see the zipper. I just want to point that out. That's all I have to say about it. That's fucking weird.
I never noticed that, but then again, I watched this on tape like it should be.
That's fair. I think you should be watching this movie on VHS, and I think it probably reads way better.
And this is also, speaking of on VHS, just a forever memory of mine, because my video store in Sanford had that legendary Pumpkinhead standee there.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And so growing up, I remember that, and they also had the Freddy It's a Boy baby carriage one, too, at the store. And I was just always look at those things in awe when I was a kid. I loved them so much.
Yeah.
But that Pumpkinhead one especially. Like, man, that was cool looking.
No, that's awesome. Yes. Okay, so he brings... Harley brings his son to the spooky witch. She says she can't raise the dead, so she sends him to Razorback Hollow. She's like, go on down here, and this is where folks used to bury their deformed kin, essentially. And so bring back that thing that's there, and there's some things that she has to do to it. So she's pretty vague about all of these things. Yep. And he goes out there. He gets spooked by some bones and vultures and other haunted hayride type crap, like everywhere he walks.
Ghost in a sheet.
Somebody jumps out with a chainsaw with no blade on it and is like, ah! And yeah, lots of that. But he finds this patch with deformed pumpkins in it. And it's like, this is given such short shrift in this movie. It's like, guys... the fucking deformed pumpkins are the star of this thing. Yeah. That should have been... You should have spent so much time showing those horrifying pumpkins with, like, maybe faces on them, maybe what...
Instead, they're just like, hey, pumpkin was in the title, here's your pumpkin. You happy now?
Here's a pumpkin. It's, like, in the corner of the shot.
Yeah.
Like this location is the scariest, spookiest thing in your whole movie. I could have spent... conservatively 20 more minutes of the movie here and just been totally happy just to look at this scene. Yep. This is like if Scooby-Doo was like a real horror movie, is like these scenes.
Yeah.
It's just so beautiful. And I mean, I still appreciated it when we got to it, but it's, I wish they'd done more with the pumpkins. Anyway, he climbs up onto this big platform of dirt, and it's like the big scene of the movie, and it's gorgeous. It really is just like, it looks great. He gets grossed out when he pulls the body out, and then eventually he's like, he gags a little bit, and then he's like, screw it, I'll take it anyway.
I don't care anymore. My boy's dead.
Exactly. And so he has just one moment. I like that they give him a moment to realize how fucked up what he's doing is. And then he's like, I've
done worse.
I did drive all the way out here, though, so fuck it. I especially love the fact that it's like all of these places have names. So it's like, do people like, is it on a map? Do people know that this place with all the deformed corpses in the pumpkin patch?
Her
like,
witch's house obviously wasn't on the map.
like, you can drive there in a truck, so there's
Yeah.
a fucking road.
Yeah.
Do you think people stop by for directions or something? Like, is it...
He knew where he was going. He
That's
didn't know where he was going to go to the witch's house.
That's so weird. That's really weird. Like, it felt like more... It also feels like if he'd had to climb there with the kid, it would have been exactly like going to the pet cemetery. And so maybe they were like, no, he drives. No, if he walks with the kid, that is exactly like pet cemetery. We cannot do that.
And he has to bury the kid. Because you have to bury your own.
No, you don't. You just leave it with the witch.
Yeah.
Just leave it on her doorstep in a basket. But okay, he's got the pumpkin baby, and and I guess he loads it in his truck and heads back. We go back to the victim cabin, and Joel's brother tries to convince him that he'll take the fall for it. It'll be fine. He'll say that he did it, but Joel doesn't believe that he's going to take the fall for it or something, or doesn't want him to go to jail or whatever it is. We go back to the witch's hut, and she has the pumpkin baby laid out in a little... It's great. It's in like creepy sackcloth, and you can kind of see its face, and she cuts Ed Harley's hand, the kid's hand, puts it in a little pestle, mixes it with some shit. It starts steaming, feeds it to the baby. It starts metamorphosing.
Looks so awesome.
It looks so good. And it's so adorable. Like the pumpkin baby. When
Baby
it first,
Pumpkinhead.
Oh my God. When NECA's making a Pumpkinhead figure. I really hope they make that it comes with a little pumpkin baby. It's so cute. But anyway, it's pretty great. So it starts turning into what we will know as the Pumpkinhead monster. And, he's like... Oh, and
then
also,
Ed just like rolls around on the ground a lot. Because I kind of felt...
He's tripping out. He's going through the pain of being bonded with the monster.
Oh, okay.
This is the whole thing.
I guess I would prefer him just like looking in shock at it instead of just laying on the ground going like, oh. Like, I get what you're saying, but
there's
it just seems awkward to me.
I agree with that. I also feel like there's a lot in this movie that is them not giving the audience's intelligence enough credit. Mm-hmm. Like there's definitely a bit of like, come on, we're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to spell it out, man. Yep. And that was definitely a moment of spelling it out when he's like, as it's happening.
I've got monster vision now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, we don't need that, but we know that there's some sort of dragon heart type thing going on, and every time the monster kills somebody, Ed's gonna feel it and blah blah blah. So, okay, so. Oh, that's right. And then there's another Pet Cemetery moment here where we get Ed leaving. She's like,
"You can go now, Ed Harley,
because now it begins."
Yep.
And so he gets in his truck, and his little boy sits up and says, "Daddy, what did you do?"
Oh yeah.
And it's just like a pet cemetery. And now. I
mean, Pumpkinhead works fast, actually.
Fast acting Pumpkinhead.
Pumpkinhead. New and improved. Fast acting Pumpkinhead.
Yes, absolutely true. So this Ed goes to his wife's grave, talks to her while he's burying his son there. Mm-hmm. That's a weird scene that didn't need to be there, but whatever. Actually, it doesn't explain anything. He's just like, I'm going to get vengeance. They killed our boy. Yeah. Now I'm going to get vengeance.
Oh, your wife's dead. Okay.
Okay, cool. And this is probably the worst writing in this entire movie coming up here. This bums me out, and I wish it was cut. This is the... Joel's brother and his girlfriend are outside, mm-hmm. and she's like, I'm freaking out. And he grabs a hold of her crucifix and holds it up to her, and he's like, look at this. You always found strength in this. Now come back to me. It's like, fuck you.
Ugh.
Whoa, woof.
Nah.
Oh,
But then he gets grabbed by the head, right?
Want to take a second pass on that line, buddy? Yeah. Anyway, yep. Luckily, he gets dragged up a tree by Pumpkinhead.
Because Pumpkinhead just loves to climb trees. Like, he loves killing too.
Oh, he loves it.
But the thing he loves even more than killing is climbing trees like a monkey.
Like a cute little monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a mostly tree and roof-based killer, is kind of his thing. I wish the reason... And so... there would be an obvious reason for this because we've already got like the whole Pumpkinhead. You've got the idea of your like headless horseman kind of characters that are stealing heads and whatever. Yep. It's like, sure, he rips the heads off. That's the thing. And plants them in the fucking pumpkin patch. When you come back, you open, like, he stumbles across one of the pumpkins and one of the severed heads has been put back in the pumpkin patch where he's killed all the people.
Yeah, now you're sounding like, the hell did we watch recently? Motel Hell.
I mean, it would be better, though. I mean, like, there would be a reason for it. And
I was saying earlier to you, I just want a scene where somebody's head gets ripped off.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, Mortal Kombat style. Especially...
Predator. Yeah,
that too, especially because Pumpkinhead has the giant fingers for it. Like, how cool would that shot look if you saw all those big fingers close on somebody's head and pock? But it's just like, nope, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to climb up a tree with you and then drop you.
Yeah, they definitely ran into some problems with this monster, like some issues with just the fact that they wanted to make it so big. They were like, "What if we made it 9 feet tall?"
Yep.
And it's like, it looks cool.
It looks awesome.
But the fact of the matter is that you could have made it 5 feet tall and foreshortened it, and it would have been fine. Because then the person would have had the strength to look like they were doing physical actions.
Yeah.
And I think that might have been a problem. Like, I think that might have been a misstep on their part. That, like, they could have done something much cooler if they had given him the ability to actually move around in the suit.
Gotcha.
But whatever. I mean, there is one scene that I think is, like, we'll get to it, that I just think is, like, one of the coolest parts of a kill in this movie. It just is creepy and weird and awesome, and if everything was at that level, this would be one of my favorite movies.
Okay.
But we'll get to it. Anyway, they the girlfriend runs in and is like, weird monkey
thing happened,
alien monkey dragged up a tree, dead, and they're like, nothing's out there. And so Joel is like, grabs the gun, goes out, and he's like, they hurt my brother, I'm gonna kill him deader than those 2 kids that I've killed recently.
Because he brought a rifle along too, because of course he did.
Which is weird, because I thought that he brought a handgun. I thought that was what was implied in that first
No,
scene.
it was a rifle in the back seat.
Oh, okay. It seems like a handgun would make more sense.
He's like, because we're going to the jungle, you never know what we're gonna shoot.
Yep, that's right. Yep. So... they find Joel's bloody headband, and she's just like sitting praying. The Christian girl is like sitting at the table praying, just just because she's developed this trait recently, and man, it's crazy. It's like they just wanted some sort of like exorcist type line here, I think, where it's like, only God can save us from them, or whatever she says, whatever her line was. So we see Ed freaking out while Pumpkinhead like grabs the crucifix girl, carves a little cross in her forehead for some reason.
And that was it. That's my problem. These kills are weak. Like, man,
they're weak, and sometimes they're very funny.
You got a giant monster, and he's just gonna go like, goop, goop, I made some scratchies. And then we just cut away.
Yep. And then we go to we go to the dragon heart thing that's going on with Ed Harley while the murder is happening.
Yep.
And he's like, you gotta put a stop to it. You gotta end it. And she's like, I can't put a stop to it. It's gotta run its course, Ed Harley. And he's like, if you won't, I will. You can't do it. Damn you to hell. God damn you to hell. He already has. It's like, I knew you were going there, but I was still disappointed when you did it. So next, this is the funniest part of the entire movie. Pumpkinhead has a sense of humor because he takes the dead girl and rubs her face on the window, and it goes and her face smushes up all over the window. I was like, was that supposed to be scary? Because that is funny. And whatever. All of a sudden, Joel grows a spine. Like, he's been the worst person in the world, and now he's like, take me. I'm the one
you're looking for.
No. And he charges the monster with a machete that he found somewhere. And it gives nary a fuck about him. And just like, bink,
bink. Broke
and
your
just
wrist.
Throws him so far. Yep, he's like a bag of moldy tangerines, in the words of UHF. So he, of course, Pumpkinhead here grabs one of the other girls, one of the replaceable girls that we are all the same person, and drags her up a tree.
What? You mean he climbs up the tree with a person?
And instead of pulling her apart like a loaf of fresh bread, like you would expect he was going to do,
he's just like,
he drops her and she dies.
Drop you.
Nearly bloodlessly, just drops.
Another terrible kill.
I'm dead.
Yep.
Like
you don't even see her body hit the rock. It's off camera.
Yeah,
it's like the third off camera kill in a row. Like
basically she. Damn
it! How does a special effects guy do like no special effects with the deaths?
This blows my mind.
It's crazy.
It's like this. A lot of the deaths in this could have been done in like a Lifetime movie. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like it's really strange, but there you go. So now we get basically a new repeat of the cold open, only the three dumbasses this time. So they're like running around, knocking the doors. Everyone turns them away because they've been marked for death. They try to steal a truck, but the owner makes them drop their gun, which was pretty funny. Then before he can say anything more, he says some weird stuff, and then Pumpkinhead finally shows up. It menaces them for a second, but then Ed Harley shows up and shoots it, and it falls down dead.
I found that funny, too. It's just like, boop, boom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And of course, Joel, being the total fucking dipshit that he is,
it's actually in character.
It is absolutely in character. He's so dumb that, of course, this makes sense. He kicks it and then shoots it in the face with his gun, and he's like, it's dead.
It's dead.
And then, of course, guess what?
It's not.
It's not. It grabs him. It was playing possum, and
Pumpkinhead awkwardly rolls on the ground a little bit because dude probably can't get up in that thing.
Absolutely not. No, that takes probably 4 people to get him to a standing position.
And now this part, man, Pumpkinhead gets up, and we get like that cool shot of him standing up, which looks great. And he grabs the rifle and he points it at him. I just wish Pumpkinhead used the gun here.
No, this is much better.
I wish he just. I wish both of it happened. I wish he shot him and he was like and then he was like, okay, now I'm gonna stab you. But I just wanted Pumpkinhead to shoot the rifle.
Right. I think so. My version of what I would have liked with this movie would have been him examining the rifle, because he is a literal demon, because he's something otherworldly. Where we're getting this idea that he is a person.
Yeah.
Who has experienced the world before and is evil.
Yes.
I like the idea that he's otherworldly and hasn't experienced the world, so he looks at it and he's like, "What is this?" It shoots and shoots the guy in the arm, and he's like, kind of, and then just shoves it through him and kills him. But
I would also accept it that way.
That would have worked for me. But yeah.
Or he could have stood over him and shot him up RoboCop style, and then did the thing. Because we do find out he knows how a motorcycle works. So why?
He definitely understands how that gun works.
Wouldn't it be cool to see Pumpkinhead cock a shotgun?
That would be weird. That would definitely be weird. There's almost nothing nothing human that thing could do that wouldn't look weird.
Yeah.
Almost anything he does, you'd be like, okay, that's very strange. Put on a shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, that's strange. I didn't expect to see that. He's kind of an Iggy Pop type that would never wear a shirt.
And pants would look so weird with his triple bent leg there.
Oh yeah, but Incredible Hulk shorts would look fucking dope.
Yeah, with a rope belt.
Oh, I was thinking jams, if he had really colorful board shorts. Oh, Pumpkinhead Goes Hawaiian.
Is this a shirt idea?
Okay. So I have a treatment for a movie about Pumpkinhead going surfing in Hawaii. Do you think we can get it made? Luckily, Stan Winston's dead, so we don't have to worry about that.
Jesus.
Listen, if you'd seen a gnome named Norm, you'd say the same thing. No, that's not true. I love Stan Winston. I don't feel that way in the least. I miss him every day. Okay, maybe not every day.
Maybe not every day.
Okay, I might have gone a little overboard there. Anyway, where the fuck are we? I'm looking at my notes and I can't even find it. Oh, all right. Okay, so he stabs him with the shotgun, and then and this is the moment that I think is probably the best Pumpkinhead moment. Mm-hmm. He holds onto the corpse of Joel, and he's moving his neck around, and it plays so broken. Like, you can tell that it's boneless.
Yep.
And there's something about the way that he's manipulating his neck that is disgusting.
Yeah.
That is, like, legitimately revolting. And I loved that moment.
That was cool.
That was a great moment. And I think that was the closest thing to a gross out effect that we got in this horror movie. But while he's dicking around playing with the corpse, a dog gets mad at Ed Harley and bites him on the arm.
Yeah, what was that?
Because then Pumpkinhead goes, "Ow, my pumpkin arm!" Because there's a Corsican brothers thing going on between the two of them, and so whenever
I thought the dog attack was random.
No, the dog attack was our first hint that if you hurt Ed, you hurt Pumpkinhead.
Oh, okay.
Pumpkin Ed.
Pumpkin. Oh.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I get it now.
That's why they called him Ed, because it's actually his middle name. His first name is Pumpkin. Pumpkin Ed Harley. Anyway, so our dwindling party of victims arrives at Buckflower's place, gets turned away, but the son, Old Bunt,
Old Bunty,
Old Bunt, he's starting to feel a little guilty about maybe condemning this group of strangers to death. And so he climbs out the window, makes his sister promise that she won't tell on him, and he decides to...
In another scene, I feel just goes on too long.
It's sure.
Stop it. Stop slowing this down.
Literally,
I'm going to go help these people, but you got to promise not to say anything. Do you super promise? Do a pinky swear. Spit on the ground. Let's do a little Lord's prayer.
This scene should have been... This should have been media res. This should have been him... It cuts in, and we see him climbing out the window. His sister says, "Where are you going?" "It's my fault. I shouldn't have done that. I got to go help these people."
Perfect. That's all we needed.
That's it.
Yep.
That should have been the whole thing. Instead, we get this fucking 7 minutes of pinky swear? No, spit swear.
Exactly.
No, pinky spit swear.
Pinky spit swear with the potato sack.
Okay, but you got to play dueling banjos for 5 minutes before you leave. Okay, we're going to watch it in real time. No. Anyway. So, Bunt knows a safe place.
Yeah.
Or a place that might be safe, he says.
It was a good idea.
It was a good idea. It's fair. It is a burned down church, and he figures it's a holy place, so it might not like it there. And so this feels like a scene directly lifted from Rawhead Rex.
Yeah.
This is so Rawhead Rex that there's a scene that I confused it with in Rawhead Rex.
I don't care. I love this church set.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And I love how it's lit
gorgeous.
With all the blue light coming through every crack and everything.
Yeah. It's perfect. It really is. But again, it's another scene that makes this movie look like a stage play.
Yeah.
Like, so much of it looks super unreal. And again, it's a combination of what I love about it and what I hate about it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I can't quite wrap my mind around why this movie doesn't work perfectly. But it's something having to do with that. I think if I could think of this movie as a play, I think I would love it. I think maybe that's the problem, because it really does. It feels like something that was meant for the stage.
I don't mind the stage looking kind of thing at all with the like you said, there's no backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just lights and fog. That's the background of everything.
And
I just feel it works though.
It does. It absolutely does.
It doesn't bother me a bit.
It doesn't bother me. I almost wish that everything looked like that, but that would make it so stylized it would be weird.
Yeah.
But like if even the character moments when the people were talking, if their houses looked like that, if they looked like stage sets where you're just like seeing only a little bit, if like they cut out the backgrounds of everything. So again, make the whole thing look like a kabuki play, and I'd be like, whoa, it would be like this crazy avant-garde choice. And you know, I mean, it's still a great movie. Yeah. It's still got a lot going for it, but whatever. Anyway, he tells them the kid Bunt.
Oh, Bunty.
Oh, Bunt. Hey, anyone out there that's having a kid soon, here's a name for you. Just think about it.
Yeah. And if your name is Bunt, then
I'm sorry.
So sorry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If your middle name is Cake, I'm doubly sorry. So I was going to tell of someone who came into the store who has the worst name ever, and then I realized he might listen, so I'm not going to. Anyway,
and if you know who you are, we're just joking. Your name's cool.
We love you and your funny name. Although there was somebody when I worked at Videoport who had the name Luke Skywalker.
Like legit? Like his parents gave him
His parents named him.
Oof.
His last name was Walker.
Yeah.
His parents named him Luke.
Oh, God.
Sky.
Oh,
Walker.
gosh. Don't do that to your kids, guys.
And because I was literally listening to them signing him up for a card.
Yep.
And
they're probably proud of it, right?
No.
Do they regret it now?
Well, I mean, the parents were. I don't know if the parents were proud of it, but he was like, they were like, "Wait, is it?" I'm like, yeah, my parents thought they were funny.
Yeah.
And he was
I wasn't saying he was proud of it.
No.
The parents were like, Luke Skywalker. Yep, that is actually his name. We named him Luke Skywalker.
Dickheads.
You know, from Star Wars?
Yes, we know from Star Wars. I mean, it's very likely that he was born in like 79 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's like they thought that Star Wars was going to be a flash in the pan
Yeah.
and no one would ever know. So it's possible, given how old the guy was. I don't know. Either way, it was still terrible.
We made a terrible mistake.
They made a terrible mistake. Okay. So, all right. After he tells them the legend and all that garbage. Oh, another thing about the alien. This thing makes the same sound the alien does.
Yeah.
Like, when it arrives, it makes the alien sound, which is weird.
That's a little qualm with me, too. Like, I'm not a huge fan of Pumpkinhead's voice acting. And by voice, I mean he's always just... all the sounds...
What is he... Does he ever make a noise?
He laughs, like when he's got the bike chain, like...
Really?
Yeah, he just snickers a lot. He's all like, hey.
Oh, yeah, he makes like guttural, like hissy noises.
But they don't sound that cool to me. I'm not a huge fan of them.
I feel like it's a nice understated version. Like I would much rather that to having him go
yeah.
or whatever, or hissing. What I don't like is the fact that shaker noise that is the sound that accompanies the arrival of an alien in the movie Alien and the movie Aliens is the same noise that this thing that has the same shoulder things and the same body form as an alien makes when it shows up on screen in this movie.
You just don't know the extended Pumpkinhead universe.
I don't. It could easily...
He could be a
xenomorph.
A xenomorph, yeah.
Absolutely, he could be.
A reanimated xenomorph.
I think that once you watch the movie Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings, you'll find out that he's only one person, and so this Ed Harley story doesn't make any sense, and that there's only one Pumpkinhead, and so everything that happened in this movie doesn't really work.
We'll find out next week when we cover Pumpkinhead 2.
I guess so. I don't know. Maybe. Sure, why not? Pumpkinhead 2.
It's got Amy Dolenz, dude.
It's got Amy Dolenz. All right. Okay. So, let me check. How long have we been going?
We can button it up.
Oh, we can. We're doing fine. Anyway, I feel like I've been very boring this time because I'm very tired. Anyway, okay, so
me too. And you almost picked a different movie yesterday.
I almost did.
You're like, I don't think there's enough stuff in this movie for us to talk about.
I still kind of feel that way, but there's stuff. And this is the scene. This is that scene that feels so weird. This is the one out of place character moment for Pumpkinhead, where he has the chain.
Yeah.
So Pumpkinhead, the kid leads them back to the parking lot.
Yep.
Where they'd parked all their cars.
So they can ride the motorcycle to safety, I guess.
Or maybe the car, or what?
Yeah.
Like, I think they'd hoped to take.
Oh
the
yeah,
car.
but Pumpkinhead smashed all the cars.
Trashed all the cars. He's like flipped over everything. They're like, oh shit! But he did leave the bike.
Yep.
And so he jumps on the bike, starts it up, and he's like, I'm gonna take off. And he revs it, and you're like, wow, you're spending a lot of time revving it. And then we cut over, and Pumpkinhead's dangling the chain, and it's like,
and he laughs. He's like,
yeah,
he has like a weird laugh. So.
Yep.
And then he lifts the bike up and just like chucks him, which is like, I don't know. It's cool that you can do that, but like,
he has to live.
yeah,
I mean, he doesn't have to. There's no reason for him to live. Honestly, it's just that in this particular morality tale, they're letting the people who don't suck live.
Yep.
Like, pretty much, he's only killed people who are annoying and suck. So, I get it. But he does throw the bike like 20 feet. And the kid and the girlfriend are just like, oh, he's dead. Bye.
Yeah.
And just fucking take off and leave him. Little did they know that Pumpkinhead, sometimes he pulls their heads off or breaks their necks or whatever. Sometimes he just drags them around for no reason.
Yep.
Luckily, he was the drag him around for no reason. Ed shows up and he does a come with me if you want to live thing, and they get in his truck and speed off to his house, and he's like, get inside. And while all this is going on, Pumpkinhead's just dragging Chris around, maybe because he doesn't want to kill somebody without an audience.
Yeah.
Because I think so far he's only killed people in front of other people.
Big show off. Yeah.
He is kind of a show off.
It's like, I don't know Oasis kill.
Yeah.
I got a show to put on.
I can't. No, I don't think he's killed anybody that like was alone. He's made sure somebody was watching when he killed somebody.
Yeah, you're right.
So that could be it. There could be a reason. But okay, so
he's got to have people to tell the story, to tell the tale.
Yes, it's a very Freddy Krueger thing. So the remaining woman begs Harley's forgiveness. It was an accident. We did. And she's like, "You killed my boy."
Yeah.
But I'm gonna send it back to the whatever hell it came
from. With my flamethrower.
Because I've got a flamethrower. Yeah. And he punctuates whatever he says. Like, I'm gonna send it back to hell. What he says is, nothing can stop it, but I'm gonna send it back to hell, and then lights his flamethrower. Yeah. Luckily, he has a flamethrower there to light to punctuate that, because otherwise you would be drawn to the fact that sentence made no fucking sense.
Well, he said he can't be called off, but he's gonna send it back.
Oh.
So you can't call him off. You can't stop him, but I'm going to.
But you can.
You can't make him stop doing his thing, but you can kill. Yes.
Oh, okay, sure. I don't think you can. In fact, if you set him on fire, it only makes him look cooler. Like
he can't set him on. He's fireproof. Remember, he shoots the flamethrower, and he's just like nothing.
Well, except that he starts smoking and looking fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like it makes him look shinier and more glossy, and like he just looks way cooler.
He does look way cooler.
Like all you did was just make him look fucking cool. Great.
Pumpkinhead's only line like, "Shoot me again."
Yeah,
it makes me look cool.
Makes me look awesome. But he does. He shoots him, and it's like, well, there you go. Okay. So Pumpkinhead was about to show up, or Harley was about to blast him with a flamethrower.
Yep.
But he seems to neglect to remember the fact that when old Punky shows up, Harley can't do shit because he's too busy holding his head going, "Ah!" And so he does that thing, drops the flamethrower, and then he starts getting the monster eyes and getting all spooky. There's a moment here where we cut to the Dust Bowl kid hiding in a closet doing a Halloween homage.
Yeah.
And then there's a shot of the dog hiding in a box, which is fucking adorable. It doesn't make any sense, but it's cute as hell.
Doesn't need to be there.
It does not. So Ed Harley starts getting the Pumpkinhead eyes, and Pumpkinhead starts getting Harley's face. I like it. I think it looks great.
I think the face looks great. I think Pumpkinhead looks but I prefer him with his other face. So like for me, like I hate the whole end of this when he's got that Lance Henriksen face, like because I like his original looking face so much cooler. Like,
fair. I mean, again, it's
You know,
more
it
of
reminds
this,
me
like,
so-
in case you're too stupid to figure out what's
Yeah.
going on here, they're the same
the
person.
face almost reminds me of the Freddy baby.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
to bring that back,
absolutely. Yeah.
It looks almost just like that. Yeah, and I just think of that, and I just don't like the look. Like, I'm not saying the sculpt is bad.
No,
I'm
no,
saying
no.
I want Pumpkin.
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
his original face back, and I wish that was just a one shot thing, which would be a lot. Which would be a lot of work to do.
I agree with that. I
But you
actually
can
think
see
that's
it like
what it should have
but
been.
it flashback, then he looks like Pumpkin again.
Yeah, yeah. That does not seem like something that should have been the last shot of
Yeah.
the monster. You should have had the classic monster
Yeah.
as the last shot. I agree. Yeah, yeah. Okay, but while the other part of this is that when Ed's going out to confront
He makes quite the oopsie poopsie.
this is, dude, you work on a farm all day long,
Yeah.
and this is how you go out. He literally runs himself through with a pitchfork.
He
by
trips
accident.
and lands on a pitchfork.
Can you imagine if the ending of this movie, instead of that, was him tripping and dying on the pitchfork? And that kills Pumpkinhead.
Oh, that would have been funny.
That would have been...
Can you imagine how many people would be pissed off?
Oh, that
He's
would
like,
have...
ow! And they both just went, dunk.
And
roll
everybody
credits.
just stands around
Yeah.
looking at each other like,
Can we go now?
oh, I guess that's... Oh, shit. Well, but no, that's not how it goes down. She just notices that... Oh, actually, no, she doesn't notice. Ed notices
Yeah.
that Pumpkinhead is injured when he's injured, which leads him to grab a pistol, put it to his head, and fail to shoot himself properly.
Yeah.
So he shoots himself in the head but doesn't kill himself. And so Pumpkinhead still gets up, and so we get a kill me moment.
With she picks up the flamethrower that he dropped when he got impaled. This is what we were talking about.
Yeah, that's...
She starts shooting him, and he just looks cool.
It just looks awesome. And then Ed's like, no, kill me. And so she grabs the gun. He actually stands up to make a bigger target.
Yeah.
And so she just shoots him like 6 times. She was like, I don't want to shoot you. And then she's like, fuck it. Boom, 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 boom. Like, whoa, okay, that accelerated very quickly. That was crazy. But, yep, that's it.
And they both
Pumpkinhead,
just fall.
And Pumpkinhead catches fire.
Yeah. Oh, that was cool.
That was cool.
And that was the actual suit.
That was...
I was watching a show
Don't do
about
that.
Pumpkinhead 2, and they were saying, like, yeah, they had to start to build the whole creature from scratch for that because they set the suit on fire at the
Why?
end of the first movie.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I hate it when they do stuff like that. Come on, man. Save it. We'd never know the difference. So we get a crane shot because they couldn't figure out how to end the scene. I guess we just pull away so nobody has to say anything about this awkward moment that we're all experiencing.
That works.
And then they're like, okay, but we really want to see the flame again. So they come back in and they just like concentrate on the flames. And it's like, we go from the flame directly into the old pumpkin patch. And we find the old witch is burying Ed Harley. But he's all curled up like a pumpkin head.
Yeah, and he's got his necklace.
But he's got a necklace. And so there you go. Yep. He's the next Pumpkinhead. And that's how it goes. Which is a cool idea. I mean, that is a great curse.
Yeah, I like that curse aspect of this a lot. I love the whole dig up the guy, make that, then it's like when you're done, put it back for next time.
That's recycling.
Yes.
She's a very efficient witch and very earth conscious.
Yep.
I like that about her. This is, I mean, it's a classic for a reason. It's a classic because of the monster, but it's also a classic because it's got some cool concepts. And again, Lance Henriksen in a starring role, which you don't get very often.
Yep.
And Lance Henriksen is so awesome that it's great even when he has funny bunny teeth in. It's cool.
No, I love the thing too. I just wish it had better kills. That's pretty much.
I want better writing.
I want
and better kills.
better writing, better kills, better pacing. No,
yeah.
Don't stop wasting my time on things.
Yep. And if you're gonna waste time, if you're gonna have moments of just characters talking, have it written well enough that it's compelling.
Yeah.
Have it be about something where it just feels like they're kind of talking about nothing.
Yep.
Most of the times that they're wasting your time. So it's like, waste my time and give me some character development.
Yep.
That would be fun.
And more, more teens, more partying teens, like,
more partying teens,
and more
wacky teens.
Yeah, I wish we had more of those kind of antics that I always love in these kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't, because they were just stressed out from the get-go. Like, they never got to go to the cabin and party.
Nope.
So it's like, it would have almost been cooler if, like, that guy took out a kid on accident, but, like, they didn't see it. And then he was like, I'm just going to keep quiet about this. And then they go back and party, and then they find out later what he did. Like, so that way we could have the antics, because they never get to party house before the tragedy happens.
Exactly. That would be, and that's an easy fix too, because like they could go, they stop there. He sees that like the kid runs out and is like, wow, look at these motorcycles, blah, 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 and draws attention to the motorcycles to the dad. And he's like, you stay away from those are dangerous. Comes back, the kids go to the cabin. They go out, they're motorcycling around. They kill the kid who's out in the woods chasing his dog.
Ah, there you go.
Don't find anything out. The father finds the kid. He's like, where did he go? Goes out. He went out for a walk, whatever. Finds him and then sees tracks in the dirt. And it's dirt bike tracks. And
Perfect.
he's like, it was those kids.
Yep.
Now I need revenge.
Now I need to go to the witch.
Yep.
Perfect. That would have also worked. Yeah.
Yeah. But...
Oh, well.
Boo.
Still a
had,
fun one.
He could have kept it secret from all of them the whole time. Like, nobody there would have known, and they could have found out what he did. The people in the cabin could have found out what he did as things went on. Why are we being attacked? And then they turn on him. Then they don't all have to be assholes where they're like, well, yeah, let's cover up for you.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many ways you could have fixed this.
Yeah.
But, again... I'm also talking about a movie that is goddamned brilliant and wonderful. So, whatever.
Yeah.
Monday morning quarterbacking. It's what we do. Anyway.
But we're qualified because we've made so many cool movies ourselves. You know what I mean? We obviously know what we're talking about.
You should have seen the movies that I made in college. They were so fucking good.
They're way better than this. Way better than everything.
Oh, man. They were like 5 minutes long and shot on a high 8 and edited poorly on an Avid machine.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I'm not qualified for anything. Although, I will say that I'm qualified to write books about skateboarding. You know what? Rad Wraith is coming out again soon.
Sick.
So
is this a reissue with
yes.
book 1 and 2?
Book 1 and 2
in one convenient tome.
Exactly. If you haven't read it yet,
it's
it comes
great.
together in 1 and 2, and then November we get issue 3. December we get issue 4. Rad Wraith out in stores near you. That is the plug. Buy stuff at Coast City Comics and coastcitycomics.com. That's the other plug.
You can buy Rad Wraith at Coast City Comics.
You can.
You can buy a Rad Wraith t-shirt.
Hell yeah, you can. You should buy like 3.
Yeah.
And one of the really wonderful benefits of Rad Wraith, the new one, is that it has a James Harrigan cover that is so fucking cool.
Nice.
He did such a good job. It's the Rad Wraith doing a boneless off a cop car and smashing the window in. It's pretty great. So yes, do that. Follow us, rate and review the podcast if you like it. If you don't like it, keep listening anyway.
And if you don't like something that we do, tell us. So maybe we can be like, go. Oh, you're right. I don't like that either. Let's fix that.
I should probably stop doing that. Yeah, that's fair. Like if you want me to oil this chair.
Yeah, you have. It doesn't do anything.
It works for like 2 days. It stays unsqueaked for like 2 days. But like I literally need to do it before every podcast or it doesn't stay.
But yeah, or you can buy like a tons of shirts from coastcitycomics.com that would give us money so we could buy a new chair that doesn't squeak.
Yeah, this thing only has one arm and is really falling apart. Yeah, so yes, please buy shirts and stuff. We appreciate it. And next week we're gonna do Pumpkinhead 2 Blood Wings
with Amy Dolenz
and Bill Clinton's brother, I think. Is it Roger Clinton? Is that his brother?
I don't. You told me this today. I had no idea who this guy is. I've barely even heard of Bill Clinton.
He's supposed to. He's the. You know how like every Democratic president is supposed to have a really embarrassing brother.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, Jimmy Carter had Billy, and he like tried to market beer and was always drunk in the White House, and he was like this amazing embarrassment. Roger Clinton was the Billy Carter of Bill Clinton's presidency. Okay. He was just like Bill Clinton, you know, for all of the embarrassing things Bill Clinton did in his presidency. There's also like him going, oh God, dude, what? Oh shit. I can't
Here in Pumpkin, what what, 2 now?
You're-
What? What the hell's a
Please.
Pumpkinhead?
Please don't use my presidency to get into movies like Pumpkinhead 2. Maybe wait until I'm out of office to start starring in fucking New Concord adaptations of shitty movies. Boo. Anyway, I would have done the same thing. If I had a brother who became president, I would have starred in so many shitty movies, and I would have had a shitty country music career just like Roger Clinton.
My brother's totally the president, you know. That means I can act. Just saying.
Well, I mean, it means that people watched Pumpkinhead too because they were like, "Oh, Punky Brewster's in it, and the president's brother."
I mean,
and
Punky and Amy Dolan's is like the big selling points for me. Like, I didn't even know Clinton was in it, or never even heard of that until today.
I watched that movie specifically for Soleil Moon Frye when it came out, and I could not figure out who she was.
Doesn't she look so radically different from the Punky days?
So I literally, when
I feel you, bro.
I haven't seen it since then.
Yep.
And I remember that I watched it and I was like, was she really in it, or was she like in a background scene that I missed or
No,
something?
she's a mainer.
But like,
main character.
I could not pull her out of the lineup, and I was like, oh, I wanted to see Punky Brewster.
Yep.
But, oh, there you go. Who knows? But yeah, there you go.
Follow us at Funbox Monster Podcast on Instagram. You
all
can
those
follow
things.
me at Matt Awkward VHS Fiend, and check out the Video Vagrants group on Facebook.
And also Coast City Comics Maine on YouTube for videos.
Yes, and speaking of that, the Video Vagrants YouTube channel. We do a Friday night movie every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You can watch the movie and chat along with it, and it's super fun. This week is Masters of Menace.
Masters of Menace.
It's a motorcycle movie. I ain't never
Yes,
seen it.
it is. Oh my god, that
Looks pretty
movie's
wild.
insane.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that movie's great. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for listening or watching, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Good night.